Excuse me. Good afternoon, Friday Faith Session viewers. Welcome to Friday Faith Sessions. I am Brianna and I am late. I am so sorry. Had a rough and crazy morning. Didn't sleep all that great last night, but I am here now for all of you that are watching or gonna watch. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and please share, especially if this message touches you or you feel as though there's someone else in your life that needs to hear it or be encouraged. Feel free to share as well. In way of announcements, I will go back. I was rushing, so I'll have to go back and fill in the description box. But in case you ever would like to reach out to me for any reason, maybe you want to ask me a question that you don't feel comfortable putting in the comment section, you can, or if you would like, as I mentioned before, to share your story with me so that I may share it with others, or if you want to just share your story with me just for me, I'd appreciate that as well. You can reach out to me at that's onelbbdt at gmail.com. Again, I'll go back and put that in the description box later. Excuse me. The name of this channel is Live, Breathe, Be Desmoid Tumor, because I am a desmoid tumor survivor. However, I use this platform, I use this social media platform to encourage, just to encourage. That's my main goal. Share my testimony. If you haven't already seen She Named It Trevor, I would encourage you to go back at some point and take your time to go through that. That is where I basically lay out my entire story concerning my battle with desmoid tumor. And so that's the more detailed version of everything. Usually in these little Friday Faith sessions, I might pick something from events that have occurred in the past, and it'll come out usually in more depth in She Named It Trevor. So if you haven't already done that, feel free to go back and look at She Named It Trevor. There are 10 episodes. They're all within the half an hour range. So, take your time with it. If you feel like binge watching it, by all means, grab some popcorn and something to drink and binge watch. That's fine with me too. Whatever floats your boat. In addition to that, the Desmoid Tumor Research Foundation right now is having their annual Running for Answers. It's typically a 5K run walk that we have usually in Philadelphia. However, this year and last year, because of COVID, it's been virtual. Now, a lot of people who are fundraising are doing challenges to help them fundraise. I did do a challenge last year. I believe my challenge was for every $100 I raised, I would walk a mile. And thankfully, I was only about $79 or so short of raising my goal, which was $1,000. And this year, my goal is $1,500. So the only difference is this year I'm not taking up any challenges because there are some things I've been going through in my body, and I'm getting stronger, but I still have a few limitations. So I'm not challenging myself to anything this particular year. So if you at all feel compelled to donate on my behalf, again, I will go back and put the link down in the description box to take you directly to my fundraising page. I'm doing it through Facebook this time because it's a lot simpler. You just click the donate button, click how much you want to donate, and then bam, it's there. So I'll go back and put that link in, but I believe my page is public. So you can also find me on Facebook at Bree Jackson. It's BRI and then Jackson. You can find me, and you look on my page, you'll see the link to the fundraising for this particular year. Every little bit counts. Whatever you are able to do, feel free to do it. If you're able to share it with others, do that as well. Again, my goal this year is $1,500. So, like I said, I am. If it seems like I'm talking really fast, I'm running way behind schedule today. These videos are supposed to be at 12 noon, and I really hate it when I'm late. So I'm beating myself up about that. But anyway, What I have today, and you have to excuse my voice. Um, I don't know what's going on with my throat. Need some lemons and things of that sort. But anyway, so what I have for today to encourage you is to hold on. To hold on. Again, if you look back at She Named It Trevor, you'll know that I have been battling with desmoid tumor since 2013. In 2013, just to be really, really brief, I was diagnosed with the cancer. And in 2013, I also had surgery to remove the first tumor, which was 19 pounds. Really, really large. They took a whole bunch of other stuff out along with it. 8 months after surgery, because the surgeons were unable to take away every single desmoid tumor cell, I had a recurrence. And I've been battling that recurrence ever since. So if you stay up with Friday Faith Sessions, I try to keep you updated as far as what I'm going through. But because I choose to live by faith, and in doing that, life happens to me just as well as it's going to happen to anybody else. But my response to that is to trust God in all things. And so, although I am going through and I have been going through, I trust God to bring me out and to change my story. And so, most recently, in 2018 had sepsis, and because of getting the sepsis, what they had me on at the time, they took me off of. So I went 2 years, just about a half years, on no type of chemotherapy treatment at all, no pills, no infusions, nothing. And the whole entire time, the tumor was stable. No growth, necrotic on the inside, just beautiful. Most recently, as of February of this year, I got news that the tumor looked to have grown. And so because of that, we started back up on treatment options. So in fact, in March, I started on a drug called imactinib, but it's also known as Gleevec. It's a pill. So I started on that. I was on that until May of this year. And then I got hit really bad with just like, I lost a lot of weight. I found it not difficult to eat, but I was eating less because I felt fuller longer. And then I found out that my digestive system isn't emptying as fast as it should. So there, and I'm like, today I feel much stronger compared to what I was, say, 2 weeks ago. Because recovery from that particular blow took a while. Like, I was admitted to the hospital May the 24th. I left May the 30th. And I don't think I felt as much of myself until a month afterwards. So it took a really long time to bounce back from that particular hit. But in addition to that, two things were given to me as options as far as treatment is concerned. Surgery, which I said the only person I want to cut me open is the person that cut me open before, and if that's not going to happen, then I don't want surgery at all. It took enough from me the first time. I don't need them to take anything else. So I don't want surgery. And then the other option was more chemo, obviously a different type. And so because I just was like, I don't want anything. I really don't want anything. But at the same token, I know the history of this thing, and as much as I know the doctors are doing what they can in the natural, I continue to believe God to do what He does in the supernatural. So, my other option was to start a chemo called liposomal doxorubicin, which I have the list of signs and symptoms, side effects, and all that kind of stuff. But it was explained to me that it's along the same lines as the methotrexate and blasting that I was on before. So I feel kind of like okay about taking it. It would only be one infusion every 3 weeks. But I say all that to say, hold on, because whatever the circumstance is, whatever it is that you're fighting, whatever it is you're battling, whatever it is that you're going through, um, none of us know how long it's going to take. And sometimes it can be, if it's longer than what we want it to be, then it becomes like, okay, I don't know how much more of this I can take. It becomes, I really just want to throw in the towel, give up, give in. This is not worth it. Like, I trust me, I've been there. I understand completely. And I want to encourage you today to hold on. And the biblical character who came to mind concerning this topic was Joseph. Because Joseph, at 17 years of age, was gifted with a dream. And the dream was confirmed it was confirmed. He had the one dream. He told his brothers and his family, and they were like, I am not about to be bowing down to you, sir. Not happening. He had another dream to confirm the first dream, and his family still was just like, no, not happening. Like, just no. But Joseph, the dream did not become fulfilled until approximately 20 years later. And in the midst of him having the dream and the dream being fulfilled, in that 20-year gap, he went through so much, but he held on. And I was also thinking about Joshua with that as well, because with Joshua, we're not talking about Joshua today, we're talking about Joseph, but with Joshua, and in both circumstances, God gave them promises. The promise for Joseph was the interpretation of the dream was the promise. The promise for Joshua was that God would always be with him. He was on his side, and that he would bring him through, that he would be victorious. And each of them, although separate in nature, because what Joseph went through was like on one side of the spectrum, and then what Joshua went through was on the total opposite. Like, he was literally in battles after battles after battles after battles before he reaped the promise. But the whole point is that between the giving of the promise and the fulfillment of the promise, both of them had to hold on to what God said what the outcome was going to be for their lives. And that's important for me, and it's important for you who's listening, to just hold on. Whatever your dream is, whatever your God-given dream is, whatever your purpose, whatever your plan, whatever it is that is the end for you, it's going to happen. Yes, it may happen instantaneously within a matter of months or even just a year or two. Then there are some of us, it takes a lot longer. Come August of this year, it will be 8 years long for me that I've been in this journey. But I like the number 8 because the number 8 stands for new beginnings. So as much as I could have been dead, probably should have been dead by now, I'm not. And I'm going to continue to hold on, because as long as I'm alive, I know that God has a purpose and a plan for my life. And I also know that he's going to see fit that it come to pass, because he promised it to me. And so with Joseph, I'm going to just talk a little bit about really quick the things that he went through. So he had a dream. He told his family. They were like, nope, that's not happening. Sorry, Joseph. I mean, because he was the baby of the family. Like, nobody wants to bow down or come subject to the baby of the family. Like, you're the youngest. You don't know nothing. You don't know what you're talking about. How in the world are you supposed to lead me? How in the world are you supposed to have charge over me? Okay, not happening. And Joseph was just like, well, I'm just telling you the dream I had. I mean, what you want me to do about it? And the first thing that happens is his brothers plot to kill him. And that's the thing. When God has his hands on your life and the devil want to try and come and kill you, he can't kill you. Because let me tell you something. If God didn't have his hands on my life, I would be dead. And there were many circumstances that happened that could have killed me. I'm going to tell you about this one particular instance. And it was, I was one night, it was after work, and I was going to church, and I hadn't eaten all day. And so I was going to walk over across the street to the dollar store to grab me something to heat up in the microwave, like a, macaroni meal or something like that, really quick, because I was hungry. And so I'm at the stop light, right? I'm at the stoplight. The traffic that is going this way has the red, so I have the right of way to walk. But the traffic that's coming this way, I noticed that there is a car that is waiting for a bus to pass coming this way in order for him to turn this way, right where I'm going to be crossing crosswalk. So I realized that he's anxious for the bus to come so that he can whip that corner real fast. And so because of that, I was cautious about, getting across the street. So then I noticed that he's waiting on the bus to come. So I'm like, okay, I have time. Let me run real quick. Let me run real quick across the street. I happen to have on this romper, right? And it was floor length. It was very long. I typically will only wear it with heels because of how long the pant legs drag on the floor. And so, but I lifted them because of that. And I have on flats and I'm like picking up the pace and I'm walking real fast, calling myself like running across the street. I trip and fall in the middle of the crosswalk. And as I do that, he, like I said, he was ready to bust the corner as soon as that bus passed, and that's exactly what he did. He turned that corner so fast. As I'm falling, he is turning, and by the time I hit the ground, I fall like with this arm is this way on the pavement, and my head is like down like this. My glasses fall off, my shoe falls off, but his front tire on the driver's side, literally, this is no exaggeration, literally was right here on my arm. That is where the wheel was. And had he not stopped, I'd have been dead. Had he not been able to stop in time, he would have rolled over Sister Girl, and Sister Girl would have been dead. Okay? Dead. DEE. DEA. Dead. Oh my gosh. So I'm telling you, there will be times where death will try and knock on your door, but as long as God has a purpose and a plan for your life, death cannot and will not be able to take your life. So anyway, first of all, his brothers tried to kill him. And then another thing I want to say is that if his brothers were able to kill him, now hear this, and this is what I believe. If his brothers were able to kill him, it would have turned God into a liar. Because if God gave Joseph the dream, right, and he is a promise keeper, the dream had to be fulfilled. It had to be. Especially because he confirmed the dream. He had to make sure that the dream was confirmed. So little did, I think it was Reuben, little did Reuben know that God was divinely using him to intervene on Joseph's behalf. Because Reuben's like, no, well, let's not kill him. Let's not kill him. Let's just put him in this cistern right here. And but let's not kill the boy. He is flesh and blood after all. Okay? So first they tried to kill him. And then Reuben stepped in like, no, we're not going to kill him. Then there were Ishmaelites coming down the road, so they said, well, let's just sell him into bondage. Sold the man into slavery. Your own flesh and blood sold him into slavery. And then here's the thing. After they sold him into bondage, they falsely, Joseph ended up being inaccurately portrayed to his dad, who loved him dearly. His dad loved him so much, he mourned and mourned and mourned at the thought of his death. The thought of his death. Not to mention that he was sold into slavery for like mad cheap. Mad cheap. Okay, I don't know what 20 pounds or 20 units, whatever the weight measure is for silver at the time, equates to in like dollar figures, but I'm sure it wasn't a whole lot of money compared to today's time. So he was inaccurately portrayed to his father. What they did was they dipped his coat in blood they didn't even tell the dad what happened. The dad Jacob assumed what happened to Joseph. that he was mauled and eaten by an animal and all this other kind of stuff. So he mourned. Anyway, despite the fact that he was sold into bondage, God still had favor on him throughout the course of every situation that he went through that could have easily given him the idea that I should just give up, I should just give in, I should just throw in the towel because I know that God gave me this dream and he showed me what my end was going to be, but I don't really think it's going to happen because now, I mean, my brothers is out trying to kill me and then they're going to sell me into slavery. And now I'm sitting here, I'm a slave. My dad thinks I'm dead. All of these things are happening that could have easily fed doubt into him, believing that the end that God showed him was going to be. And he didn't let it. He held on. So, even when he was in Potiphar's possession, so to speak, he had favor with Potiphar, so to the point that Potiphar put him over everything except for his wife. He had like mad favor. Then of course, the wife going to try and come after him, and so things are going to come to tempt you. Things are going to come to try and throw you off course. But you got to hold on to the promise. You got to keep it. Nope, my focus is on whatever God wants, whatever he is leading me to do. That's what my focus is on because there's an end and it's going to happen and that's it. Falsely accuses him, Potiphar's wife, so that he gets thrown into prison. I tell you. In the prison, he still had favor. In the prison, he gets control over everything. The guards don't even pay him any mind because, well, that's Joseph. He's trustworthy. He's honest. We can, trust him with the keys, whatever. He's not going to escape. He's not going to do nothing. He's not going to go nowhere. Because his sole purpose was making sure that in everything and every circumstance that happened during the course of this promise being fulfilled, he stayed true to God, true and loyal to his command and the man on his life. And he held on to the promise. So he was sent to prison. And then while he was in prison, there was the cupbearer and the baker, and they both had dreams, and Joseph was able to interpret the dreams. And the cupbearer got out. Joseph was like, remember me. And the first time he forgot totally about Joseph. Totally forgot about him. And I mean, during the process, things will happen. People will forget about you. People will, and the thing about it, we can't rely on people. Can't rely on people to be what gives us drive, what gives us push, what gives us motivation to continue to trust and believe God, because people will fail you. Cupbearer forgot about him. Then Pharaoh has a dream and it's like, he gets everybody he can think of to come and try and interpret his dream, and nobody can do it. Then the cupbearer is like, oh, I got somebody for you, Pharaoh. Then there comes Joseph. And he interprets the dream. Not only does he interpret it, he tells Pharaoh what the dream was without Pharaoh telling him what the dream was. That man was gifted. Interprets the dream, and because of that, by age 30, this is age 30 we're at now. Now, I didn't read any scripture, but I'm coming from Genesis 37, 5 to 8, and 41, 44 through 46. Okay? Because of that, by the age of 30, matter of fact, I'm going to read this, Genesis 41, okay, 39 through 40 real quick, just to give you some context, and then I'm going to be done. It says, then Pharaoh said to Joseph, since God has made all this known to you, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of my palace, and all my people are to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you. That's the power, right? So then now, in the same chapter, in the 44th to the 46th verse, says, then Pharaoh said to Joseph, I am Pharaoh, but without your word, no one will lift hand or foot in all of Egypt. Okay? Pharaoh gave Joseph the name Zephanath Paneah and gave him a Seneth daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, to be his wife, and Joseph went throughout the land of Egypt. Now, here it is, right here. Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from Pharaoh's presence and traveled throughout Egypt. Now I said 20 years, right? I'm going to tell you why it's 20, not 13. Because it wasn't until, so there were 7 years of abundance. So at 30, Joseph was given the rule over Egypt by Pharaoh, with the exception of his throne. By 37, because there was going to be 7 years of abundance and then 7 years of famine. So his family didn't have to come and see him until there was famine. That's why I say it was about 20 years before the promise, before the dream that Joseph had actually came into fulfillment, was actually manifested. 20 years. 20 years. 2 decades. And in the entire time, with every single thing that he encountered along the way, he had to continue to hold on to the promise. Continue to hold on to the dream. So that is it for today. God, we thank you for this moment. We thank you for this time. We thank you for allowing us to see this day, which was not promised to us. God, we thank you for your new mercies, new every single morning. God, we give you glory, we give you honor, and we give you praise. God, for all those who have watched this, who will watch this in the future, I ask, Lord, that you help them hold on to whatever the promise is that you have placed in their lives, to every promise that is given to us that is in your word, Lord. Help them to hold on to your promise, God, to keep it, Lord, hidden in their heart that they may not sin against you. Lord, I thank you just for being who you are every single day to each and every one of us who choose to believe and trust your word, who choose to rely on you, who choose to make you the center of our lives. And we be careful, God, to give you all the glory, honor, and praise which is due unto your precious and holy name. In Jesus' name we say, amen. Thank you again so much for tuning in today, July the 16th, 2021. You guys have a great weekend. Stay cool and dry, I guess, depending on where you are. There might be some thunderstorms and things of that sort. I don't know. But keep your head up. Keep going. Keep pushing. Whatever you do, don't stop believing. Don't stop trusting. God will do it. He'll do it, okay? I am very much a prime example of that. And tune in next week. And until then, I will see you around. Adios. Doodles.